What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing. We're going to continue with the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series with an onion farmer from Canastota, New York. He was a lightweight, welterweight, and middleweight. He devastated Kid Gavilan when he dropped him early in the round, but wound up short with a welterweight decision. He won that title by defeating Johnny Saxton, and then went up to the middleweight division to challenge Sugar Ray Robinson. After two fearsome bouts with Ray Robinson, the world knew that they were dealing with a force to be reckoned with. Let's take a look at Carmen Basilio's magnificent career. Now, Carmen Basilio began as a 21-year-old lightweight after a spell in the U.S. Marines. In 1953, he floored world welterweight champion Kid Gavilan, but lost a close decision, and had to wait until June 1955 for another chance. This time, he stopped Tony DeMarco in 12 rounds in Syracuse. Return clauses were formalities in the world title contracts. Then Basilio had to stop DeMarco again before he lost to Johnny Saxton. He lost to Johnny Saxton in Chicago in May 1956. 6 months later, he stopped Saxton in nine. He stopped him in 9 rounds to become champion for a second time. Carmen Basilio was an unbelievable fighter. He challenged Sugar Ray Robinson. Not many welterweights were willing to do that. He split a decision in the front of 38,000 crowds in Yankee Stadium, New York. Let's take a look at his fight record. Now, in 1949, August 2nd, he challenged Johnny Cunningham in Syracuse and lost to 8 rounds. But then he made a comeback on August 17th and challenged Johnny Cunningham again. And this time, he was successful with an 8-round victory in Syracuse, New York. September 7th, Tony DePaolino, Rochester, New York. He defeated him in 8 rounds. September 30th, Jackie Parker, Syracuse, New York, KO'd him in 3 rounds. And then Basilio began picking up steam in 1950 with 4 or 5 good victories. One with March 6, Lou Jenkins, a former lightweight champion. In Syracuse, he defeated him in 10 rounds. He continues on to 1951 with only 2 defeats, one to Lester Felton in 10 rounds and one to Ross Virgo in 10 rounds. So this back and forth career kept going on with Carmen Basilio, and it turns out he had a lot of problems with his hands, and that's the reason why he was inconsistent with his wins. But in 1952, he lost to Chuck Davey, and he drew with Chuck Davey. He lost to Billy Graham, but then he won against Baby Williams. November 18th, he defeated Chuck Foster, KO'd him in 5 rounds. 1953, January 12th, defeated Ike Williams in Syracuse, New York, for a 10-round victory. February 28th, Vic Cardell, a very good fighter out of Toledo, Ohio. That's where they had this fight. 10-round victory for Carmen Basilio. June 6th, he scored a 12-round victory in Syracuse, New York over Billy Graham, an outstanding fighter at the time. July 25th, he had a rematch with Billy Graham, Syracuse, New York, and split a 12-round draw. September 18th, Kid Gavilan, Syracuse, lost 15 rounds for a shot at the welterweight championship. November 28th, he fought a familiar foe and Johnny Cunningham, Toledo, Ohio. Killed him in 4 rounds. December 19th, very good fighter, Pierre Langlois, Syracuse, New York, 10-round draw. And this kind of thing kept going on for Carmen Basilio for several more fights throughout 1954. 1955, January 21st, Peter Mueller. He was a good fighter, Syracuse, New York, 10-round victory. And then in June 10th, Syracuse, New York, 12-round KO over Tony DeMarco and won the World Welterweight Championship. Carmen Basilio finally got his boyhood dream. See, Carmen Basilio, the only reason why he went to a high school is because that high school had a boxing tournament, and he wanted to be on that team. And he was on the last team that high school had. And once that team left, he left high school. November 30th, Tony DeMarco, Boston, KO'd him in 12 rounds. This was one of the most vicious welterweight championships in history. September 7th, Gil Turner, Syracuse, outstanding Philadelphia welterweight, later turned middleweight, defeated him in 10 rounds. 1956, March 14th, Johnny Saxton, Chicago. He lost 15 rounds. Everyone feels as though the mob had something to do with that fight. But still in all, Johnny Saxton came out with the victory. September 12th, Johnny Saxton, Syracuse, New York, was KO'd in 9 rounds. He re-won the welterweight championship. So Carmen Basilio was a 2-time welterweight champion at this point. 1957, February 22nd, Johnny Saxton, Cleveland, KO'd him in 2 rounds, World Welterweight Championship. So he had 3 fights with Johnny Saxton. He won 2 and lost 1. May 13th, Leo Owens, exhibition. May 14th, Leo Owens, exhibition. He fought another fight with Leo Owens, and this was another exhibition. I guess this was warm-up time for September 23rd when he challenged Sugar Ray Robinson for the middleweight championship. Basilio relinquished the world welterweight title. He defeated Robinson in 15 rounds and became the new middleweight championship holder in 1957. 1958, March 25th, he had a rematch with Sugar Ray Robinson in Chicago, Illinois, and lost 15 rounds and lost his world middleweight title. That would be the last time Carmen Basilio would be middleweight champion. September, Art Aragon, Los Angeles. He knocked him out in 8 rounds. That was September 5th, 1958. Magnificent career by Carmen Basilio. Carmen Basilio was a magnificent fighter. Tough, mauling fighter. Let's look a little deep into Carmen Basilio. Now, as you look at Carmen Basilio's scrapbook here, Carmen Basilio in 1958 faced Art Aragon. Art Aragon was a very, very good fighter. He was what they called a trial horse, but didn't give anybody a hard time at any given day. Basilio came in at 155 pounds. Art Aragon came in at 152. The odds were up to 5-1 for Basilio. He fought in Los Angeles, September 5th, 1958. Ex-champion Carmen Basilio and Art Golden Boy Aragon, 2 aggressive ring terrors, were pitted in the chips down fight of the sundown today for the fight in the shutdown middleweight crown. This is broadcast on NBC, 12-rounder. So this was a televised fight. It was promoted by Patch Blue Ribbon. They were a beer company. Basilio rocked the scales at 155.5. They weighed in at 10 a.m. early that day at the Olympic Auditorium. Art Aragon came in at 152. That's what his contract was. He could have came up as far as 156. The co-manager was Joe Nito. Joe said he weighed 156 for Pierre Langlois of France at Syracuse back in April 1954. Angelo Dundee was the trainer for Carmen Basilio. And we know Angelo Dundee trained Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard, Michael Nunn, various others. I know Angelo Dundee was in the ring with Willie Pastrano for a while. Basilio 31 was making his first start on a comeback trail after losing to the 160-pound crown champion, Sugar Ray Robinson. It was a split decision at Chicago, March 25th. So Aragon was battered to a pulp as Basilio wins the 8th. So salute to Carmen Basilio, the onion farmer from Canastota, New York. And he was so popular they decided to put the Boxing Hall of Fame in his town. Until this day, Carmen Basilio has a huge statue in front of the museum. Carmen Basilio, onion farmer, welterweight champion, middleweight champion of the world. This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I'd like to enter Carmen Basilio into the Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff. Salute.